Hi, I want to talk about Nigel Farage's video statement regarding the Henry Nowak murder and Rupert Lowe's post on X, Twitter, and the different nature of them. Both good. I'm going to talk about Farage first, and I'm going to give him credit. What he's doing here, he's bringing huge audience to the attention to a huge audience of this heinous, despicable crime, and he does address how awful the police were. So he describes the crime. He then talks about how terrible the police were. He doesn't say what punishment he wants for Digba and the family and the police. Rupert does. The big difference there. Um, he he blames DEI training. Correct. And other things. So he goes into it, and obviously he does the pure cold rage statement, and rage is the correct emotion to have right now. Don't listen to the people that are saying that's terrible, and it's awful, right? It is, and enough is enough, and it is time for the English, mostly, but the British public, to actually have rage and direct that to the establishment. Now that doesn't mean violence, right? It doesn't like that everyone assumes rage means violence. Well, it depends if you can control your emotions or not, doesn't it? I'm I'm constantly walking around simmering, and I have been for years now, because I know the atrocities that's being carried out and still carried out against me and my people, and the fact that I will be punished if I say the words slightly wrong. Anyway, a good statement. The media reaction is very, very predictable. And I actually think that when Nigel says something based, even though I don't believe him, because I think he's a lying snake, when he says something based like that, his popularity will go up. And I think with that, he's increased Reform's chances of potentially winning the Makerfield election. Now, whether or not where I go deeper down the rabbit hole with these things is because I know that Farage is establishment, and I know that the establishment is preparing at some stage to transfer the baton, for the baton to be handed from Labour to Reform, to continuous with our decline, with a slightly different colour rosette. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm not sure if I've got anything more to say about Farage's statement. I'm glad he did it. It's a shame. It's a shame he is who he is, and he's just a liar. And not enough people have realised that yet. So, Rupert's statement, written statement on X. Now, I don't know if he's done a video statement. If he has, please let me know. Was absolutely just to the point, matter of fact, no ambiguity. Digma will be put to death under a Restore Britain. The government of Restore. His family will be deported. There's no reason to allow that savage to continue living. There's just no point, and I agree. And obviously, I hope they do the same with Axel Ruda Kavana and the guys that chopped up Lee Rigby. He describes the incident in a similar way, just obviously with fewer words, what happened. But he then says the police must be investigated, charged, tried for manslaughter. Farage didn't do any of that. So Farage says we need to get rid of DEI. Yeah, we do. We need to get rid of DEI. Okay, pass laws to get rid of it, make it illegal to do it. And Rupert also says that, and Rupert just says we need to restore the police. And it's like, I'd like more. I don't think they have a policy on the police. Now, if they do, please correct me and please share me a link to it. I haven't checked on the Restore website for a couple of weeks, so I don't know if they've updated policies. But I would like them to lay out exactly how we restore the police. Me this is where I go into like Winston's manifesto, if you like, which is probably a good job. But I'm not anywhere near power, because my response to the police will be, I don't want a single cop to be able to retire with a pension. Anyone that is still there, I consider my enemy. They know what they're doing is evil, and they're happy to do it. Whether or not they feel happy about it, and whether or not they're sort of like just staying quiet, I don't care. You're there. You should leave. Those that have left on the reasons for doing this, because of how the police force has been going, should be worked with. And let's try to work out how to build a new police force under the Sir Robert Peel principles, the Peelian principles, them policing us with our consent, because it's just gone so far away from that. I don't think you can reform this police force. It's unreformable. That everybody in it is either happy to go, like going along with it, or complete believers in their agenda. So they have to go. And as I say, I don't want them getting anything from it. So that way, maybe this is where cleverer people than me work things out. But they can't be allowed to just swan off with massive redundancy payoffs. Can't be allowed. So whether or not we can have new rules, laws passed that make what they've been doing illegal, and then charge them for what they did before it was a crime. And people say you can't do that, and say, well, you can actually. Ask Tommy Robinson. He had to be released after the Leeds trial for kangaroo court scenario. He had to be released because it was proved that it was completely bogus, and they just invented a new law that it is illegal to make Muslim rapists feel nervous after they've been found guilty and are going back for sentencing. It's legal to do that, and Tommy was charged with that, even though it wasn't a crime when he did it. So don't give me that shit. Whatever I've done. Obviously, I'm not the person to come up with policies. I know that. I have a wish list. I have a fantasy. I'm not the guy. I know that. But I can do this. So I would, from that, I've just round this up. I would like to see both reform and restore elaborate. Give us something concrete. Something so that when it goes in your manifesto, it becomes a mandate, and then you can circumnavigate the House of Lords, who will obviously do everything they can to stop whatever you're trying to do. Anyway, yes, both good statements. Forget the media. Don't worry about it. They're going to do what they do. And give credit to Farage for doing a good thing, I suppose, even though, as I said, don't believe a word he says, and you shouldn't either. Anyway, see you soon. Goodbye.